this is all about on the spot? What were you saying before, that nothing? Oh no, you're muted as well. You'll need to unmute yourself.
All right. It's going to work out at some point.
It's going to happen.
Do you want to spotlight you, me, and Emil?
Yeah, but do you want to share what we were talking about just before?
Yeah. It's just not, there we go. It's staying on.
You are spotlighted.
Yeah.
High performers also don't need to be perfect for the record.
Never. I'm never perfect. So this is a perfect example of my entire business and life. So we were, Michelle and I are business partners in some of the aspects of our business that we do together. And we had an incredible call the other night in one of our programs where we were talking about how important it is to not get sidetracked from your path. And that even if a tree falls in the way, that you find a way around the tree. And so we couldn't go live. So I'm live streaming from my phone into Evolve right now. So hi, everyone that's watching in the Evolve group. Hi. We will upload a better version of this webinar for you later. But for right now, you can join us on the phone, recording the computer,
or
live into the group.
Live. There's also the flyer, so you can jump on live and be part of this group. So welcome. We are going to kick off and get started. Thanks for being patient while we had a few tech fun things, but it happens.
Hey, Sarah, can you spotlight you also?
Oh, I can certainly spotlight me if I'm not spotlighted. So we have an awesome lineup tonight. A few of you have probably attended several of these webinars we've now done on a Sunday evening. And basically it's for people, I guess, for people to learn a little bit more about Healy, but you know, there's plenty of webinars, but why we really wanted to do this, and we've called it Quantum Conversations, is because we want to get a bit more niche. We want to really help people understand more practically, like how are people using Healy in their lives, in their businesses, within a niche. So we've had health and fitness, we've had health practitioners, we've had abundance and network marketing, and now we've got high performance, because we know a lot of people, and if you're joining, it's probably because you're an entrepreneur, or you're a thought leader, or you're a high performance coach, or you're just anyone who really wants to be on top of your game, and you're always kind of looking for the extra 5% of how do I really be at my optimal state for my purpose, for my mission, for my family, for my community, for whatever it is that you know you're here to do. And so this is what this conversation is about tonight. I'm super excited to have some amazing people, some of my favorite humans in one room diving into this topic. So we've got Emil Steenveld. I've been friends with him now for about 7 years, and I still work
my name.
Second name, right? He's an incredible high performance coach, works with a lot of top level business people, but his expertise within that is also emotional intelligence. So he's really, fine-tuned that niche within the bigger context of high performance. Then we've got the incredible Michelle Adams. Well, you have another surname as well. I'll just stick with the first name, shall I? Michelle is a phenomenal, she's just like a modern day medicine woman, but she's got PhDs galore in Chinese medicine, in acupuncture, and probably another 10 modalities. 5-element theory is really her area of specialty, and self-mastery is really her game, and she's exceptional at it, and brings a lot of knowledge from that sort of holistic health space. Works with many top clients who are, again, sort of top of their game. And then we have the highly resourceful Leah Steele, who is business partners with Michelle. She's a phenomenal wealth coach, really about deconstructing wealth consciousness, repatterning wealth consciousness. She has an incredible podcast, AKA The Wealth Witch. And she just really is at the top of the game in the coaching space in terms of the program she offers, in terms of the clients she works with. And all of these people, and the reason I invited them on is because I know these people in the work they do, but I also know them behind the scenes, and they really embody what they teach. And, she's on it, like all the things that give you that extra few percent in your ability to get the most out of life and yourself. She's on it. And underlying it all is really energy, because Healy, everything is energy, frequency, and vibration. So I'm excited you're here. We've got a really great lineup. It's going to be probably about an hour. We'll keep it short and sweet. But I'm going to just really quickly, for those that may be watching that are a little bit newer to Healy, a really quick overview just so we set the scene in case you haven't already heard much about it. Basically, Healy is this little wearable device that you may see myself, Leah, don't know where yours is, Emil. There it is. A little bioresonance device that is kind of just, what's the word? Not taking storm. It's just rippling really around the world at the moment because it works, basically, in a nutshell. It's a frequency device that I really believe is creating a new era in health and healing and freedom. It very simply scans and analyzes your body physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, identifies anything that's out of balance, and then customizes and recommends a frequency program to bring you back into bioenergetic balance. When you're in balance, you're in your optimal state of being. And then you can obviously see why that ties in so well with high performance, because it's working on all the different bodies and bringing a lot of self-awareness so that you can play the game big. So that is the little intro, and then we're going to just dive in with these guys. So my first question is very simply going to be to each of you, and I'll start with Emil. Why did you get into Healy, or why were you attracted to it as a product? I think it was first for yourself, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was attracted to Healy first because, one, I work with emotions and I deal with emotional intelligence. And the thing is, it's not enough just to do mindset work. Like everyone's talking about mindset work. Yeah, cool, just work on the mind. But if you don't work on the body, then you're going to have another issue. And I think that a lot of coaches out there and a lot of people don't understand that when we are generating things from the body and it's out of balance, that's going to affect the mind. It's going to go back and forth. So when I first discovered Healy, which when I met obviously with you, you were talking about your hormones. And it's interesting because a lot of women have hormone issues and imbalances with their periods. And it's quite funny because I know a lot about this because I deal with emotions and emotional intelligence. And I was like really curious about it because I'm like, if this can work on your body simultaneously and I don't even have to be there, like the fact that you can do distant healing, like, which I still don't understand, but it's crazy and phenomenal how it works. If you can work on your body in between sessions with my clients, then they're going to get results way faster. So my mindset was like, well, if I can work on myself, especially after I work with clients and I do some deep work with clients where we go back to traumas and what happened when you were children, like everything is developed from when we were children, and we decide that we're going to act a certain way and we're going to behave a certain way to survive. And that works up until a stage in our lives. And when I got clear about this, it really really clicked for me when I noticed my assistant, I scanned her and I didn't know much about her parents or anything like that, about her upbringing. And when it came up, it basically said two things about her mom and her dad. And I said, what's your relationship like with your mom? And she's like, no, I said your dad first. And she's like, well, which one? I have a biological father and a stepfather. And I said, well, your biological father. She goes, I didn't really have a relationship with him, but my stepfather I'm really close to. And I was like, oh, wow. It says the client feels seen and heard by the father. And she's like, wow. And then I said, what's the relationship like? I wanted to ask her, what's the relationship like with your mother? And she's like, oh, it's not good. And I said, were you ever shut down by your mom? And did you feel like you were being manipulated? Like, she said, yeah. She said, well, how do you know this? And I was like, it says it on the Healy. So this is when it really like clicked to me. I was like, this is not just, okay, cool, we're going to work on your frequencies, but everything is telling us something in the body. There's trauma trapped in different parts of our body, and it's connected to certain things. Like if you've got pain in your liver, or you've got liver issues, you may have anger. The body always keeps score. So when I really discovered like the power of this, I was like, wow, this is it's like having a super tool in the back shelf where I can be like, I can work with clients, I can work on myself and deepen my experience. And if I'm at optimal state, then I'm going to get optimal results for my clients.
That's awesome. That's really cool. And I think a lot of the time when we've seen it with people that we know in our lives working, like I know you've had a few really great experiences with clients you work with, then you're like, oh, okay, now I really get how this works for me, for my clients. And yeah, it's awesome. Thanks for sharing. Now we'll go one at a time at the Steele household. Leah, do you want to kick us off? Why Healy from your perspective, based on everything you do? Oh, you need to unmute.
On the managing all the technology here. Yeah, so I think I actually saw Kat is watching the webinar right now, but a friend of mine, Kat, my back went out and I was really in a lot of pain, really, really suffering for about 2.5 weeks. And she reached out to me, and we were emotional clearing practitioners of another modality. And she said, hey, I found this device, like, can I offer you a distance healing? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. And I'm really careful with who I allow in my energy field, just because that's what I do. But I had worked with her previously on some stuff, and she sent me a distance healing session from the Healy, and I was remarkably better, like walking from not walking to walking the next day. And I was like, what is this thing? Like, I need to know more about it. So it came to me through a personal health crisis that I was in the middle of. And then as I started talking to her and found out that the US market hadn't opened yet, even though I was living in Bali, I'm from the United States, obviously, accent. I saw the tremendous opportunity. And when I understood what the device was and really that it was this incredible, like, blue ocean unicorn opportunity in the market, I just was like, okay, I'm all over this. And the thing for me, I think that was most impactful is I really saw, I'm all about helping people turn on multiple streams of revenue and really tap into worthiness and deserving around money, wealth, and abundance in all areas of their life. And to me, like, this just hit the nail on the head in every single category. So that's how I found Healy, and short and sweet.
Awesome. I love it. And Michelle, tell us about you. Why did you fall in love with Healy? And I know you love it because you tell me all the
time. Who was extremely excited about her spontaneous healing event with her Healy, and immediately forced me into healing.
Yeah, I was like, you're doing this. Like, this is incredible. I don't even know, like,
she's like, just
do the thing.
Just do the thing. So I did the thing. And I was just absolutely mind blown by how vast it is. Obviously when we're dealing with frequency and vibration, and we're us being so full of fluids ourselves, so our frequency and vibration is changing with every thought, with everything. But being a physician of Chinese medicine, like, I'm particularly obsessed with the meridians, and the internal organ cycles, and just like what Emil was saying, how it can impact, emotional pathologies and how they show up in our lives. And I just find it a fascinating tool of wholeness, which I think is very rare, because we're always exercising different muscles of wellness. It's always mind, we're working on the mind, or we're working on the body, or we're working on the spirit. And it becomes, especially in the matrix that we live in, it becomes really hard to kind of infuse, our thread of consciousness, Sarah, as we say, and really sink into wellness as whole, as holistic. I know we use that word, but it's not very often that we are actually whole or holistic. I also had a crazy experience with my Healy after Leah had given it to me. I woke up with a spontaneous spinal injury. I woke up one day completely paralyzed at the beginning of the year. Well, it must have been about June, wasn't it? It was June. Completely paralyzed. My Healy the day before had been telling me I was like, but I don't have back. It was telling me to run lower back. It was telling me to run sacral chakra. It was telling me to run local wounds and nerves. And I was like, what is happening? My Healy's having some kind of issue, right? It's having a moment. And then the next day I literally woke up paralyzed. I woke up paralyzed. I had no feeling down my right leg. I couldn't move my left leg. And I ended up having a spontaneous spinal injury that just spontaneously happened in the night. And Healy knew before I knew that was going to happen. That was crazy.
Yeah.
And then from that point, I just really started working energetically with the injury rather than externally, like working with sacral energy, because a lot of the injury, I think, was caused by a time that was really, there was no sacral pleasure going on at all, emotionally. It was the beginning of Rona, and it was a tough time, So yeah, it's been really impactful in my practice with my patients, in my own injury. And I just think it's fascinating evolution of wellness.
That's so cool. And I love when high performers get their hands on a Healy, because they're already very self-aware. They tend to know themselves quite well, and they can almost, Healy is a validating tool often for them. They're like, oh yeah, I kind of sensed that was going on, or sometimes it does pick up things. And that's what's awesome when we're working with a tool that works in the on the quantum level, because it can identify those things that are not quite landed in the physical 3D form yet. And so it allows us to become self-aware and pivot and take action more preventative, rather than having to wait always for things to like be a problem before we then, sort it out. So yeah, I love when self-aware people get it, because they're like, oh my God, it knows, I know, it's very, very cool. It is an intuitive tool. So I would love to hear how, because you're all high performers yourself, but then you all also work in high performance environments. You have teams, you have clients that are on top of their game. So I guess my first question for each of you is like going to be, how do you personally work with the Healy? And then how do you work with it with clients? I think that's my next question. So Emil, kick us off.
How do I work with it personally? I love to check my chakras daily, and check in and see what's out of balance, and then also just run first thing in the morning my chakras, and then also run vibration when I do. So the first hour of my day is like drink a big glass of water, meditation, and either listening to an audiobook, or I'm reading, or I'm stretching. So when I'm doing that, I run the Healy on the first hour. So for me, it's like I'm already doing the practice, and I think that's what's really important. I think that's the thing I asked you as well, Sarah. I was like, I hope this doesn't get us lazy to the point where we're like, we just rely on the Healy. And I look at it like it's an add-on. It's a bonus of, I'm already tuning in, but then I'm also getting help from balancing myself out as well with the Healy. So I use that every morning. I use it when I'm working, especially if I'm like, I need to focus. So I use like learning or concentration systems. When I need to focus, or I'm like activation, like today I was doing some branding work, and I was like, I ran activation under mental well-being under job. And it just sort of gives me that, I feel like it just gives me that edge to really support myself in getting those results. How I use it with my clients, I either check in with them and I run distant healings on them. And it's cool because I can literally be like, hey, what are you doing? I'm going to run this. Make sure you're like, you're still and you've drinking plenty of water, like it is a healing. And I'm going to run it from this time to this time. And it's also cool to see their response when they come back to me and they're like, wow, I'm literally buzzing, or like I had the best night's sleep the other day. Like I literally shared with you today, one of the girls that I lent the Healy to for 2 weeks, she had insomnia for 2 weeks, not 2 weeks, since November. And I lent the Healy to her. And after maybe 3 days, had a full night's sleep. She's like, I haven't slept like that since November. And that just shows like it over and over again. Like I'm pretty skeptical. I'm really skeptical with this kind of stuff. And I had to test it for myself. And like, Sarah, like I took your Healy for a good 2-3 weeks to a month.
It hurt my soul a lot.
Yeah. But I was like, I needed to test it and test it and test it, because I'm the kind of person that, like, unless I've experienced it myself, I won't recommend it. And I need to be what's true to me. So after experiencing it and seeing the benefits of it, it's like, I don't want to lend it to people now.
I totally understand that. And it's cool what you say about the chakras, because I know, again, there's a lot of people in our community that utilize the Healy, and they do, you know, their morning practices and breath work and, you know, meditation and all these practices. And then they screenshot their chakras, because like getting them up to like 95, 98%, like it's, you know, it's a way for them to really see, hey, are all these practices I'm doing really getting my energy balanced? And
Yeah.
it becomes a bit of a competition. Look at my chakras today. But it is like, someone's beautifully commented in here, like, I feel like Healy assists us in becoming aligned so we can take action and live our purpose and be who we really are and who we've come here to be. And that's ultimately it. When we're balanced, when we're in alignment, there's space for everything to move through us, for our purpose to get activated. And yeah, it's cool that you're able to like support your clients with that, and you know.
But also, just to add to that, the mind is always the brain is there just to keep you safe, and it's there to find the fears, and it's there to talk you out of certain things. So when you have frequency on your side as well, it's almost like a little like buddy system to go, hey, no, let's go through this.
Yeah, an extra layer of support. Love it. Okay, over to the camp, the Steele camp again. And yeah, how do you personally, actually, even before we go into how you use it and how you use it with clients, and I could throw this back to Emil afterwards, but what are some of the biggest problems you see with high performers? Like, what, with yourself and clients you work with, what are some of the challenges they face? You know, like, I know obviously burnout is a big one. Yeah, but what are some of the things you see people struggle with? And then we'll go into how Healy can support them.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, it's just managing my energy is really important. And so it's time management, but the time management ultimately comes down to managing my energy. Yeah. And I am typically on any given day putting out a tremendous amount of energy, and I'm holding containers of dozens to sometimes thousands of people. And that requires a lot of me energetically. And so one of the things that I really love about Healy is that, well, first and foremost, every time I'm running one of those containers, I'm running frequency into the field to support not only myself, but the people that are in that container as well. But Healy for me really helps me manage and balance my energy. And I really depend on the resonance to tell me what it is I need. So, you know, my daily Healy use looks like really checking in with my resonance app in the program section of what do I really need. And I also tend to run Materia Medica quite a lot. That's kind of a daily thing for me, because I think that really keeps the physical body in check. And then I just allow the resonance to give me what I need as far as all the overall Healy programs go. But it's about energy management for me. That's my biggest thing. And the more I can be in alignment with my own energy, and the more I can be rested and in a place of where my central nervous system and my parasympathetic nervous system are calm, then the more I'm able to serve my community, and the more I'm able to serve my containers and my clients and the people that need me in the world. So that's, for me, it's one of the biggest issues that I have. And it's one of the things that Healy's helped me with the most.
Yeah, that's huge. Like, that's really what it comes down to, isn't it? In a high performance, or really anything, but especially at that level, it's energy.
Hey, Sarah, your audio's going in and out a little bit. I don't know if Emil, if that's picking up on your side, but it's sort of like you're fading in and out a little bit. So,
Emil?
Yeah, it is. It is bad. It's coming in and out.
I had the best Wi-Fi.
Because when you're speaking, like, the stuff you're saying so incredible, but it's sort of like fading in and out. So
I apparently had the best Wi-Fi in Bali, I was told. Okay, is that better?
Yeah. I think it's just when you're moving, it's kind of going in and out. However, the speaker's picking up your audio.
Okay, I'm going to try and be less enthusiastic with my body language and say, okay, awesome. So Michelle, same question. You know, what is it? You deal with tons of clients, incredible clients in your space. What do you see are their biggest challenges? How do you see this helping?
In my space, I see, because I do have a lot of high performing clients and patients, and I see that mostly it's self-care issues in that kind of area, self-care, time management, sleep disturbances, because, you know, high performers are so highly stimulated all day that it becomes an issue then to even, you know, chill out at night enough to put the body into any kind of form of homeostasis. So I'd say with my own kind of client base, if it was top 3, it would be self-care time, sleep, and time management. Time management to eat, you know, just which all falls under self-care, I guess.
Beautiful. And I love how you use the Healy for yourself as well. Do you want to share that first? And then I'd love to hear if you're incorporating it with clients, like how that works.
Yeah, so I'm a total geek. I'm a total geek. And I am obsessed with kind of ripping down the foundations of things, because I feel like, especially as far as the human's body is concerned, like I'm running lymphatic system at the moment, but I'm actually running the lymphatic system for my immune system, because, you know, I didn't sleep great last night. I've got a huge week, and I really can't afford for my immune system to be, you know, letting me down in any way, shape, or form. So rather than run the immune system, I like to like rip apart the immune system and then work with the different parts of the immune system, because a lot of people don't know their bodies, right? A lot of people don't even know how the immune system works or what the organs of the immune system are. So then what I will do, instead of just running the immune system to target any points of weakness, I will literally target the individual organs and the systems involved in the immune system to make sure that everything is on point. Also, I vibrate in the mornings. My routine is usually chakras, of course. And then I will run bioenergetic, the different bioenergetic programs, like 1 or 2 throughout the day. And I will vibrate individually different organs that, you know, affect my emotions in the day as well. I love 5-element philosophy, you know, in theory, it's my life. So I will just say, I don't know, if I need to do a lot that day and I need to be fully in my power, you know, and in almost heroic, then I will vibrate kidneys, because I need that kind of heroism and that bravery that the kidneys provide us with, you know, when they're out of whack and when they're out of balance. And the kidneys are predominantly the most out of balance organ in the human body, because we do all the things that deplete them. So I focus bioenergetically on vibrating different organs, so that it just going back to the whole, you know, it affects the whole container rather than little bits and pieces. So yeah, bit geeky, but that's how I do. A little bit
strange, just getting but that's really what I love as well about Healy. Like, we have so many incredible people in this community that come into Healy from different modalities, different backgrounds, and they find, you know, if you really understand the body, you know how to work with the organs and use it in that context. If you really understand, can you hear me?
Stop moving the hands. I think you'll be okay. Just hold them in your lap.
Hard. Myself and Taryn are really handsy, like when we talk. Yeah, but like I was saying, so many different, like, you know, high performers and people from different thought industries come in and see Healy from their own lens, and then are able to, it's very hard to talk without my hands, by the way, and then really find, you know, delve into the magic of how they can use Healy through their lens. And so it's very fascinating to be in this community. And I love hearing what Michelle's just sharing, because yeah, I don't even know that, but, you know, well, I do, because I'm starting to learn through Michelle, but it's so fascinating what this can do. And we're only just sort of, you know, touching the tip of what's possible with Healy. And Leah, is it true as well that you actually now don't let clients into your programs without Healy, because they just don't get the same results?
Yeah, and in fact, so Michelle, we're both a bit like, we've become Healy snobs.
Yeah,
and
totally.
Healy elitists, I guess. And we're okay with it. But yeah, so at my highest levels now, I don't actually work with clients that don't have Heelys. And it's because the emotional clearing work that I'm doing to deconstruct programming and conditioning, integration of that clearing work that I do goes so much more quickly when people are using Heelys. And so it really is, you know, and I think it's interesting because I see it in my practice, but I also know, I saw Jyoti was on here as well, and she's our chiropractor here, our local chiropractor in Bali. She's an incredible chiropractor and osteo. And she always says, like, we integrate so much more quickly her clearing. I see the same thing in my emotional clearing practice, that things that used to take weeks to months to integrate now integrate in days to weeks. And for me, that's invaluable because it means each time I meet with a client, I can go deeper, and so we can move more quickly and we can go deeper. And instead of having to give them a lot of tasking, a lot of journaling, a lot of self-reflection, a lot of physical body work, we can actually assign them. There's the Bali dogs. We can assign them programs in Healy to run that really help them integrate the work that we're doing with them. And so Michelle and I have an emotional clearing modality that we created. And so we actually require that all of our practitioners have it. They have to have it in order to come into our practitioner training. The people that work with me at the highest levels, especially my one-on-one clients and in my masterminds, they have to have Heelys because it makes my life so much easier, but it also makes the level and the deepness of the work that they're doing so much greater.
That's been a common theme, even when we had the practitioner one last week. They said the same thing. They're like, it really works obviously on the subconscious, and it kind of clears out stuff so that you can get into the real work. Like you can work on a deeper level, on a higher level, because you kind of work, you know, cleared stuff up really. And I've experienced that as well. There are a few questions coming in. A few people saying that's exactly why I want faster integration. You've got a little sound base if you want to follow you on Insta. No, I'm not a Cancerian. There's all the questions coming through. That's we can get into the how. Leah, can you hear me?
You're just, again, we're going in and out a little bit.
Is that you too, Emil?
Yeah.
It's so weird. I see it's fine from my end, but that's okay. Do we have any questions specific for these guys? I have a few more. Michelle, what do you recommend for weight loss?
The weight loss program from the time waiver therapist that you can get.
So good.
It's so good. I use it with my clients, especially because I'm a naturopathic nutritionist as well as a doctor of Chinese medicine. So I have a wide variety of client base. The weight loss programs are amazing.
I was having a cheeseburger the other night running my
She
weight
was
loss program.
running the weight loss
eating the
program while she was
cheeseburger.
eating a cheeseburger.
Self-mastery.
Also things that, you know, like the lymphatic system. And this is where learning the body is so important. We're walking around in these amazing miracles. And just like Emil was saying, I really appreciate what he said about not using this as a bypassing tool. You know, we already bypass this amazing human architecture enough by just waking up every day in it and not knowing how it works. You know, most of us just walk through life aimlessly, not knowing how it works. So even with weight loss, like there are a lot of things involved in weight loss. Why are you gaining weight? It might not be because you're eating 5 cheeseburgers a day. It might be cortisol, which is raised cortisol levels, which is caused by stress. What is causing your stress? Is it anxiety? Is it depression? Is it overwork? Is it, you know, underwork? What is it? And then dealing with the things at that level to also support the flow of the weight loss rather than always just going to the end of going to the finish line, you know, of things, because that's where we get 0 results.
Yeah, 100%. By the way, everyone else has said my sound is okay. So they're hearing.
Some of the people in the comments were saying that they were having issues with your sound also, Sarah. It's not all the time. It just goes.
Yeah.
I'm going to stay very still. So that is another thing that I think is so relevant to when we're talking about high performance is that it does get to the root cause of things, like Michelle was just sharing. Often we are working on that symptomatic level, but when you're running the Healy and you're doing the analysis, it's actually showing you like what is the thing that is most out of balance. Read it on the level that it is actually causing the problem. And again, when you're high performance or just anyone, you don't want to waste your time looping around in a wellness circle, you know, trying to just band-aid like, oh, is it my nutrition? Is it I need to meditate more? Is it this? Is it that? When it's really like an emotional thing, or it's really an overwork thing. So yeah, it's time efficient in that you can also solve the problem by being very direct with what's actually out of balance. Let's deal with that, both on a self-awareness. When you've got self-awareness, you can take action on that. And also the frequency level. And that's what I love about it, because, you know, often if job stress keeps coming up for a week straight, it's there in your face. So you're like, okay, I'm working too much. I need to actually take some time off. So it's very, yeah, it just makes sense. Emil, we're going to throw one back over to you. What's your number one favorite program?
Wow, really? I'm like,
you can do it.
I would say emotional well-being.
Oh.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah,
like,
emotional well-being. I feel like for me, it's like it's a well-rounded program for me, and it's really a hard question to ask, to be honest, because so many things. But I'm always about like, okay,
What's your top 3 favorite programs? How do you choose one?
Okay.
I know.
Get 3.
All right. I would say Release is also a great one of my favorites, because I feel like it's so many things that we can hold on to throughout the day. And I feel like Release, whether it's like I've just come from a workout or it's just like I've had a full on day, just to allow myself to let go. The sleep program is incredible because I value sleep, and it's funny, I'm really going deeper into like sleep patterns, especially with my high performers and high achievers, because sleep affects our moods like no one's business. We don't realize how important it is. And to go even deeper into sleep, we have certain sleep cycles we should be having a day, and quality sleep, because that's going to affect the way we wake up, the way we make decisions, the way we handle business, the way we handle relationships. And yeah, that's another one that's really important to me, sleep.
I think many others out there that are on top of their game would agree that that is one of the most important things, to be well rested and on your game. Michelle, yet 3. You can have 3.
I just going back to the 5-element theory stuff. I work very constitutionally with myself. I'm what I call a metal constitution. So that is the large intestine, the lungs, and breath of life are actually my favorite, because they provide me with all the scope emotionally. You know, our internal organs are I mean, do so much more than their Western kind of biological function. You know, they have a psycho-spiritual function that then affects our psychological output or our expansion or contraction. So those particular organs are really important to me in their emotional functions and what they bring psycho-spiritually to the body. So I run lungs, large intestine, and breath of life are my favorites, I'd say. They keep me on my game.
Nice. I like it. Leah Steele, top 3.
I'm going to give you more than 3 because I can't not. I love Breath of Life. I'm a metal constitution as well, and Breath of Life is everything for metal constitutions. It basically covers us in all the area. I love that program so much. I also love Release. I love that Emil was talking about activation earlier, because that is kind of my go-to program when it comes to work. I absolutely love activation. I love my weight loss program that came from a time waiver therapist. And I love my abundance creation program that also came from a time waiver therapist. And somebody just asked a question about that, actually. What do I think about abundance frequencies? I've had a lot of success. I think they're amazing. And I'm actually getting ready to work with a time waiver therapist on creating some special wealth witch frequencies, because I've had great success. I know Sarah's had incredible success with abundance frequencies and programs. And I just like the way I feel after I run the abundance frequency programs that I've had created by a time waiver therapist. So yeah. So those are mine. And there's so many others. I mean, it's so hard to say what's your favorite program, because depending on what's happening in your life or where you are in that moment, there's just so much. I love Pure so much for so many reasons. Like literally, like it's like Release. I love Release as well, but Pure is kind of that, like, to me, it's the next level thing where it's just like purge everything that's no longer serving, whether it's emotional or physical or spiritual or psychological. Like Pure is just like gets rid of it all. And I do have to say, because I know there's probably people here that are new to Healy, please do not take for granted the gold cycle programs. I know that like we want to be like, oh, I want these custom frequencies, and you know, and how are you working with the programs you're vibrating into the field? But those gold cycle programs are still just, even though they're in every device, they're the gold. That's why they're called the gold. And so run one of those every day. Like if you just ran one of those programs every single day, it would change your life. Yeah.
This is true. This is true. There's lots of questions coming in around the time waiver programs. Just to give you a very quick overview, if you are new to Healy, I encourage you to go watch the 30-minute overview, because that really gives you more in depth about Healy, why it works, how it works, and the business. But today we're just having this quantum conversation about Healy in relation to high performance. Basically, Time Waiver is like the mother company that created the technology, these practitioner machines that were incredible and getting incredible results. That technology is about 15 years old, but they were big machines, not very user-friendly. And then they put that technology into Healy to make it accessible to the everyday person. So when we're talking about specific programs, they're created by the therapists that work with the time waiver technology, like the, you know, where the origins of Healy came from. And so what I love about that is that there is a program for everything. There's a frequency for everything. And some people, particularly when they're working with a specific area, like Leah is saying, I want to get some wealth frequencies created. Likewise, if people have addictions, you know, you can go see a therapist that specializes and get programs that support you. So if people have specific things, they can actually get a therapist to help create programs. So you can already see how expansive, and you know, if you're on here, it's probably because you think in terms of opportunity, you think in terms of where are we going, what's trending, where are we going in the future, and that's going to lead into what I'm going to ask you guys next. But really, it excites me to be part of this movement, because we're just getting started. When we really get everything is energy, frequency, and vibration, and we have a tool that can support us in every aspect of our well-being and our wealth and our health and our life and our business, it's very cool. It's cool. It's cool. So I am actually going to, on this thread, like pass it on, Emil, like, you know, it's funny because I know a few of us on here were like, there's a lot of the same old in the transformational space, the high performance space, the conscious entrepreneur space. And we were almost saying it gets a bit boring. It gets a bit samey. Like, where is it going next? And that's my question for you guys is like, you know, there's a lot happening at this stage on the planet. Where is high performance going? Where is conscious thought leadership and entrepreneurship going? And where do you see Healy fitting in with that?
Are you asking me?
Yes.
Or, yeah. I see it being part of the future for sure, because I feel like right now, even with what's going on around the world, like people are in fear of different things and viruses and people's immune system. And it's like, when your immune system's down, we know that one, we're going to get sick. One, we're more likely to catch virus. One, we're more likely to stay in this vibration. And if we're keeping our vibration up and at a frequency that is allowing us to move through that and process it faster, then we're going to be way more productive and how we have relationships, how we build business. And I think right now it's like so many people are talking about like crypto is huge right now. So everyone's talking about crypto and money and this and that. But the thing about Healy that I loved and why I joined it was because of the fact that I talk about energy anyway, and energy is everything. So if you don't have the energy, if you don't have your health, then you literally are spiritually broke. So for me, it's like if we can get these into people's hands and really teach them about, from the inside out, then they will have the wealth. They will create that abundance, but you can't bypass it. There's no quick fix, right? You can't just go, I'm just going to go and put all this money into this and like just get the returns. It's like, I need to check in with what's happening inside before I can go outside. So I think it's really important that we really go deep with ourselves. And I think this is a great tool to do that. And it's like, it literally is your little buddy that goes, okay, let's check in with ourselves. And it does, it makes me check in even more. I already checked in before with doing meditation daily, but it makes me check in even more. And like, shit, what was your name? Not Leah. Sorry.
On a roll there.
Yeah. Michelle, was it? Yeah, it's what Michelle was saying before, is that it gets you to really like check in even deeper to the point where it's like you don't even know things are happening. The mind is we are busy human beings. We're constantly on the go. We're constantly doing things. And as much as you can be aware, sometimes you are going to miss certain things. And this is where you fall sick. And I think the Healy is great to check you in and keep you accountable and go, oh shit, maybe I need to pay attention to this before I get to the point where I'm sick, before I get to the point where I'm in breakdown, before I get to the point where I've literally like had an anxiety attack, right? And this is what we see with high performers and people that are high achievers, or if you're wanting to be a high achiever, it's like we get so caught up with doing that it actually can check you into your being. So yeah, this is where I see it going.
I love it. That was good. Channeling the wisdom. Michelle, where do you see the future of wellness going, of entrepreneurship, the high performance space we're talking about?
I feel, and it does get a bit samey. I do feel that. And I think that goes back to my whole know nothing about nothing theory about us all trying to bypass like our uniquity, where everything is just kind of a serendipitous assimilation, because it's almost like we're bypassing our radical self-responsibility to really explore ourselves in every aspect. What's inside your body, what does that look like, what emotions are coming up for you and why, and therefore creating a clear channel between you and consciousness, whatever is meant for you, in order to expand in a way that is just meant for you. And then through that comes your little fractal of divinity, in all its uniquity as it's meant to be. And as a result, there'll be less of the sameness. So I really feel like wellness is evolving, and it starts with you, and it starts with taking radical self-responsibility for what it is that you're walking around in this divine creation that we've been given. We all have different fingerprints and we don't even explore what that really means. So I really feel like it's really about just homing in and taking back responsibility for this awesomeness, this magnificence that you are, and really feeling into that and learning that in order to receive whatever it is for you, which is only going to be for you and not anybody else. And that is purpose, so I really feel like just radical responsibility is where it's going. I hope.
Yeah.
Hope.
And that's such a beautiful point. It's like when we're clear in our physical, mental, emotional body, we are able to receive our unique expression that we're here to bring forward. And I do hear, I've scanned tons of people and we've got this huge community, and I speak to them a lot, and I hear that a lot. I just feel more me, I feel more in alignment, I feel more inspired. And that is clearing some of that other crap in the way of that. So very cool. Leah, I know you'll have a lot to say on this question. Where's things going?
Yeah, I mean, I think that I just looked over at Michelle and I kind of laughed because this is really like our jam. This is, we really truly believe that the future of high performance and wellness and where this industry is heading is self-mastery. And diving deeply for each and every one of us into what our own unique path is and what our own unique gift is. And I truly believe that so many people are being weeded out right now. But the other piece of that, and so I think, and Michelle spoke beautifully to what that means, like what self-mastery means and what that uniqueness and our individuality and all of that. And so I'm not going to repeat what she said because she did a great job of talking about it. But I think the other thing for us, if we're on this webinar and we're watching this and we're high performance people, one of the things that makes us so unique is our ability to pioneer things. And I think we forget that. And so for me, I really believe that we're seeing a big shift right now in the collective, in that those that aren't willing to practice self-mastery, those that aren't willing to stand in their uniqueness, they're getting weeded out. Those that aren't willing to continue to pioneer, you know, I'm sure that all of us here have had these experiences where we pioneer something and then all of a sudden there's 20 people doing the same thing that we were doing. And the difference between us as high performance coaches or people, high performance people, period, is that when that happens, we pioneer something else. We move into that next level. We move into the next level, highest version of ourselves. And it doesn't mean that we change everything that we're doing, but we up level it and we upgrade it. And that is, to me, truly what high performance means. And, you know, we were talking about this the other day when we were like, could we ever do anything else?
Yeah.
And I was like,
no, it's because,
I couldn't.
Yeah, no, you couldn't.
Because I'm so obsessed with what I know to be my unique path in life. I am so obsessed with helping people in the way that I know I was gifted to help people, but it doesn't mean I have to keep doing it in the same way day after day after day. So it's embracing fluidity. It's embracing evolution, which is like the Evolve group is all about that, right? Healy's all about that, embracing evolution. And and then continuing to show up and pioneer things and practice self-mastery and embrace our uniqueness.
Yeah. And that's also why I was so drawn to Healy, what you're saying about evolving. And Michelle beautifully said it too. We're talking about how's high performance evolving and how's wellness evolving. I've been in the wellness space for like 12 years and it was like something had to happen to like take it into new territory. And I think what we're seeing here is this trend of wellness is booming more than ever. Technology is booming, and personal devices that give you insight into what's happening in your inner world. These are all things that are really trending in the marketplace. And so to align with something that is on trend with some of the world's biggest trends right now is very appealing to me, because where it's at now is incredible, but where it's going, are you laughing because I'm handsy or because I'm...
It's okay. I'm going to mute this, but...
Oh, my sound. Is it the sound?
No, it's the enormous tokay in the background at my house now.
Oh, okay. So yeah, on that last thread, it's like, yeah, I think we, like Leah and Michelle and Emil are saying, it's like we need to be thinking about where the future is going in our industries and be open. And, you know, I love one of our incredible soul brothers who's in Healy, Max, is always like, the most expensive thing you can have is a closed mind. And so I think, you know, if you're on here, it's probably because you're very open-minded to where are we going next? And, you know, wanting to align with things that can, you know, and experience things that can help you have that edge and be more aligned so that you can do what you're here to do, basically. And if you haven't had an experience of Healy, like to either have a distance session with whoever invited you, or if you can get your hands on a Healy, they are like hen's teeth and people will not want to give them up. So you may just have to buy one and try it. There is a 14-day money back guarantee. Emil's laughing because he now understands why it was so precious for me to gift him my Healy. But I think we will kind of bring it home there, because we want to, respect your time, but to let you know, like, where to from here, if something's really landed and resonated from all these incredible conversations we've been having, and you see that this could be a tool in your toolkit of self-mastery, go back to the person who's invited you and they can share more information. We have a global promotion at the moment, which is incredible. It's actually just been extended. And so what that means, there's basically four types of Healys you can purchase. The hardware is the same, but the software and the programs upgrade. So at the lowest entry level is what the ladies were talking about with the gold programs. They are gold. There is only 7, so it's kind of more your basic well-being, like more general well-being programs. Then there's a holistic health plus, and then the resonance. The 2 in between just have more programs. And then the resonance, which is really the only one I talk about, because everybody who buys a lower model ends up just upgrading, because the resonance is the only one with the scan analyze. And in my perspective, I'm sure everyone's perspective here, that's the gold, because that's the one that gives you the self-awareness of what's happening, which has been primarily the conversation tonight. It's the one that's scanning and analyzing, showing you what's out of balance. And then you've got 120 programs within that, 144,000 frequencies that get tailored to you. So there's that customization to bring you back into balance. And so basically, I won't go through all the pricing at the moment, but with the global promotion, you can get the Holistic Health Plus and upgrade to the Resonance for free. So you save €1,000. So I don't know where you're tuning in from around the world, but €1,000 is a huge savings. And once you get it and you're using it and you experience it, you will be like, hallelujah, that I got it. And I'm using it. So yeah, like I said, whoever invited you, go back and chat to them, more questions. There's science videos, there's product videos, there's, the creators of it, which are complete geniuses behind this technology. There's so much more we can share with you, but we wanted to keep it. We know as well that high performers are like, their time is precious. So we want to keep this nice and concise for you. But I've really enjoyed this conversation with you guys, and you ladies, sorry. And, I know there's been some great questions. So we'll put the replay up in the Evolve chat. So you'll be able to share this with people that I'm sure you're like, oh my gosh, they would love this. They would love this. So you'll be able to share it with those people that will really connect with it from this lens, Healy from this lens. And we just love and appreciate when you guys, on your Sunday nights, come and join us, because, you can feel the energy. There's a real movement happening here, and Healy really is coming into version 2.0. It's really having a revamp. Things are really coming together, and we're really excited about where it's going. And, the kinds of people you get to meet in this community are some of the most incredible thought leaders pioneering this next evolution in health, healing, freedom, entrepreneurship. And I feel very grateful to be a part of that. So we welcome you in if it resonates on any level. And other than that, good night. My special panel, would you like to unmute and say your last words to the audience?
Well, Sarah, I just want to say thank you so much, because you're always such an incredible interviewer and host. And I'm always happy to hop on any webinar that you are emceeing, because you do such a great job of asking us questions and pulling out like the goodness. So I just want to honor you and appreciate you for that. And thanks so much for the invitation to be here. And obviously just incredibly honored to share space with both Emil and Michelle.
That's awesome. And don't say you'll jump on any, because I will just ask you all the time. I love your wisdom that you share. And Michelle, do you have anything you want to bring us home on?
Just thank you. Thank you so much for having us here. It's just an awesome time to share this amazing evolution, in wellness, especially with the current state of the world. It's just such an important thing to talk about, rather than kind of sink into the fear of what may be, just really expanding on what we can be, So thank you so much for creating space to do that. It's lovely to meet Emil. And
you too, Michelle. Yeah, I was also going to say thank you, Sarah, for bringing this together. even though I've only had my Healy like a couple of months, but it just, even being on here, it's given me more insight on like how I can use it. I'm already like looking through, I'm like, where's Breath of Fire? I'm like, you know what I'm saying? So I'm already like, it's conversations like this that bring us deeper and shares perspective. And I think this is what it's about. I think it's about the environment, it's about the people around you. And I think if you want better results, see what kinds of conversations people around you are having that are inspiring and uplifting. And that's going to be also the key for you guys to really step into your greatest version.
I love that. Like, as I get my final words, you're probably like, okay, sorry, you've said enough. But to bring it home, the community, I see people like, I'll use Leah as an example. She's already multiple six-figure, I think now seven-figure coach in her own right, But like when you came in, like everything up leveled for you still, didn't it? Like the community, the support, product. So I really see that, by ourselves, we can only do so much. But when we come together, you feel this collective energy, and it's a force. It's a force of good in the world, and everyone's different, unique threads come together. And I don't see it anywhere else in the world. I really don't, or else I would probably be part of that thing if I did.
We're trying to wrap this up, but I actually would love to say one more thing. And it was something that you and I were speaking about last night. And I do want to say, because you just touched on, like, yes, I have a seven-figure business, and Healy has been incredible in me expanding my business. But one of the things about being a high performance coach or somebody who is a high performance individual is often we feel like we're doing everything on our own. And one of the beautiful things about Healy is we have this incredible community, and we get to come together and work together and do webinars like this and share space together. And for me, that's been one of the most amazing things about Healy, is that I get to come in and be in partnership and in collaboration with people, instead of being in that place that frequently feels very alone when you are in a high performance environment. Even if you have a team, it's like you're the leader of that team and you're running that team. But Healy's brought me incredible relationships with you and with Taryn and with Pete and Max, and the ability, Michelle and I were already partners, but now we're partners in Healy as well. And like that just ability to collaborate it's incredible. And as really high performance individuals, we need that. We really need that. So
that's awesome. And yeah, I mean, there's so many other areas we could touch on, and I know, like, additional as both of you coaches, all of you encourage, like, we've got to stay open in these times. And I always know as well, when people find Healy, they're like, I don't even know why. There's just this to it, and then it's a nudge, and then step in, and it starts bringing in all these pieces that you sometimes didn't even know you need, which I know was the case for you, Leah. You're like, I just intuitively knew I had to lean into this, and then all these things open up for you that you didn't even know you were really looking for, I think. So it's yeah, there's so many things within it. And yeah, like I said, like there's plenty more webinars if you, we'll be having more of these conversations because there's so much more we could touch on. But again, bringing it home last time. Thanks so much, guys. And yeah, just if you love this, share this, tag your people, and look forward to meeting new faces in the community. Bye, everyone.
bye, everyone. Thanks so much.
Bye. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.